Hey guys, hope everybody has had a great day today. And I know everybody knows the great Reverend to my right, to my left, whichever side it is on the viewer side. We're gonna talk for about an hour or so, give or take, and see what we can learn about Mr. David here. So go ahead and say hey to everybody real quick.
Hey everyone, it looks like there's a big crowd here already, so thank y'all for hanging out with me and Craig tonight. Craig, thank you once again for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. Everybody, I always joke. I tell people I charge people to go on their live streams. There's a charge to come in the door tonight. There's a cover charge for this show. It's very simple. You got to go hit that like button, and you need to share it out somewhere. Share it out so other people can learn about Rev. That's all you got to do to come watch this stream. And I appreciate that. But yeah, a lot of people in here. I appreciate everybody showing up. I'm going to try and do this on my live channel pretty often. I've got about 4 channels set up and in line to start doing these. But let me go say hey to everybody, and we'll get started. Anthony Pittsburgh, I know get Rev to 1K. I know Rev is getting real close to that magical number. So if anybody that's in here and subscribe to him, go ahead and do that, and that's free. Subscriptions are free around here. Nikki T, she's a nobody. You have to answer to her. Good to have you, Nikki. Thrifting Goomba, good to see you, man. John, Nevermore Antiques. No, John, you're not first. You can claim first if you want to, but that's not going to happen. Shane M, good to see you. Mr. Dusty, Alabama Pickers. He's one that I've got lined up. I don't have a schedule yet, but I'm going to do one with him here pretty shortly. Glenn, Swamp Picker. A lot of people confuse us. Good to see you, man. Dapper Tiger Sam. I know he went live earlier with a couple of people. That was a great show. Family Flips, Joe. I've got them lined up as well. Who else we got? Uh-oh. Give him a drop. Redneck Resale. Good to see you, man. DC Sales. Who else? Marie, good to see you. Mr. Sadie, good to see you, man. I'm losing it. It's going to be hard to do an interview with the Rev if the Rev is not here. I know he was having internet problems earlier. But has everybody had a good day? If y'all have any questions, drop them in the chat. We're going to do our best not to talk reselling on this stream. We might toe that line a little bit, but I think I've got a list of some questions we're going to try and work through, but some of them might be right there on the edge of the reselling topic, but that's no problem. Nothing but time. He just got some internet problems. We'll maybe I'll ask myself the questions. But so tonight's a fun-packed filled night on the YouTubes. We've got we're gonna do this for about an hour or so. I know John Nevermore Antiques is in the chat. Has got a stream going right after this. So if you're here, oh, there's the man, the myth, the legend. He's back.
Hey.
So that's no problem. John, like I was just telling what's going on tonight, we're going to do this for an hour or so. John's got a stream coming up at the top of the next hour, and then Jason Static is an hour after that. So I would appreciate it if y'all will just show everybody a little bit of support. I'm always told you the best way you can support YouTube creators to go watch their content. So so I hope everybody hit that like button on their way in. I gave the Rev, I'm going to call you Rev if that's cool.
That's fine.
I gave him a list of some questions that I'd kind of scribbled down, and I don't know. I've watched a couple of your interviews. I didn't freshen up on them, but I don't know if any of these have been covered or not. But I was trying to come up with things that we would learn a little bit about you, your personality, things you like to do with your family, things like that. Not just what you sell on eBay and how much you sold and how much you made and all that kind of stuff. So I want people to kind of connect with you as a person.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I mentioned earlier that our the good old interweb around here, it seems like every time the wind blows, it's flipping off and flipping right back on. So hopefully we don't have any more of that.
Are you using that AOL or CompuServe?
Yeah, it's dial up. It makes a little bit of noise, but we get through it.
All right. We're going to kick things off. One thing that you've not mentioned on YouTube that people in the chat would be surprised or wouldn't be able to guess about you. Doesn't have to be a deep, dark secret, just something.
Yeah. Craig is so awesome. He gave me like a 15-minute lead time with these questions. So it's one that I really had to think about. I like to work with my hands. So I have worked on carburetors. I've worked on rebuilt cars. And I pick up a hobby and I just sort of go at it. So I have taken Hot Wheel cars and repainted them, put logos and different things on them, and actually sold those to people. I have a leather working shop just on the other side where I work, and do leather and make wallets. I think I made this wallet and just some different things with leather. So I
That's
love
cool.
working with my hands. So I guess that's one thing that probably the YouTube channel doesn't know too much.
That's cool. Have you gone through any training for any of that stuff, or is it just stuff that you picked up and learned, and you're a trial by error kind of person?
Yeah, I think we're here on YouTube. YouTube is great. It's a great. Like, I didn't know if it went out or you did, but YouTube is a great way to learn anything. So that's what I'll do. I'll find a video and say, "Man, I can do that." That's basically how the reselling game started for me. Is
Right.
I saw Lonnie do it, and I thought, well, if he can do it, I can. So my dad's taught me how to work on cars. I've rebuilt carburetors,
Wow.
and really just YouTube education is a great way of learning how to do a lot of stuff.
Definitely. If you're a car man, I'm gonna take the camera out there and show you my F-150 engine that's not wanting to turn over.
Oh no! What year?
It's 01.
Oh one, yeah, those there's a lot of issues could be. I got a 99 Ranger and it's still going, but I'm glad I didn't get the V8 because those years
This one has
starting to die.
it's got the 5.4. It was my mother-in-law's truck, and she got a new one and had just kept it as an extra one, and gave it to us about a year or so ago. But well, that's cool. I never would have guessed that you were working with leather or all that kind of stuff. But that's pretty cool. But yeah, if anybody in the chat has any questions or anything they want to talk about, be sure to drop it in the chat. We must have some internet issues again. Are you there? Can you hear me now? Uh-oh. We might have lost. Is it frozen, guys? I know y'all are a little bit behind. We got a little bit of a lag. Uh-oh. I got to carry the show by myself. What am I going to do? That's all right. It's cool. Not a problem. So I'll answer that question. One thing you haven't mentioned on YouTube that you don't think people would guess about you. I know it's not about me, but let me think. Something that you don't know. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I don't know if I have. I played baseball, football, basketball in high school. Went to a very small school and we were a really small school. I graduated 40-something people and played all three sports. It was one of those schools where if you tried it, if you showed up, signed up, then you got to play. So not a big accomplishment, but it is what it is. So we got some more questions coming up. One or two, I'm kind of, like I said earlier, kind of toe that line on reselling, but was trying to stay away from that as much as I can. Yes, I'm just trying to buy time until the Rev gets back. So did everybody hit that thumbs up, share it out? Also, I don't know if we mentioned it as you came in, the Rev is approaching that big number. Oh, where do I need to send the link? I'm sorry. Copy to clipboard. Yeah, whatever, Sam. It was a small school. If you're familiar with Alabama athletics, I went to a 1A school at the time. Nikki, let me get over to Facebook and I'll send it to you. Book of Faces. I think we're friends over there. There you go. Send it to you on Facebook. Look for it over there. Population 1,000. Yeah, it wasn't real big. I went to a small school that had 1,000 kindergarten through 12th. I went to kindergarten to 12th with about 25 out of the 40 I graduated with. But it's not all about me. So I'll give you all the sneak peek on some of these questions. Hopefully, can jump back in a second. Got some of the basic ones that we talked about. A lot of people do. Favorite vacation spot for the family? Y'all can be prepared. Favorite video game or board game growing up? I know Rev sells a lot of sports cards. I'm curious, and I don't know if he's talked about it before or not. Is he a card collector or is he a card seller? There's a big difference there. If he's not a card collector, he's a card seller. Does he collect anything? Being a reverend, I was curious, what was his favorite sermon topic? What else? How and where did you and Nikki T meet? We're looking for the juicy details on that one. Everybody's always got a how they met their wife story. The first YouTube reselling channel, and this is the only one that really toes that line of reselling. The first YouTube reselling channel that you ever watched. The next one after that, the last YouTube reselling channel that you watched today. Favorite sport, favorite team. What was your first car? What did you want your first car to be? What's up, Chris? Good to see you, man. What's up, Tommy? We're having some technical difficulties, so I have started interviewing myself, which is a little crazy. Hopefully you can jump back in. Hey, Denise, good to see you. It's all right. They were having some trouble already. But Chris, I don't know if you were in here earlier, but the price of admission, the cover charge is to oh, we're cool. It's not a problem. Tell him to take his time. The price of admission is to hit that like button, that thumbs up, and to share this out. And also, the Rev is getting very close to 1,000. So if you're not subscribed to the Rev, and I'm sure a lot of you are, go over and subscribe to his channel. The link is down in the description. If anybody else in the chat that's a mod could drop that link, I would appreciate it. So, oh yeah. Chris, Make Money on eBay is one of the other content creators that I've got scheduled. I think we're doing it Friday night. It's already scheduled on this channel. So hopefully that'll be a fun one. I've got Dusty, Alabama Pickers coming on. I've got Veronica, the cherry picker, scheduled to come on. Don't have her scheduled yet. She's committed. Who else did I talk to? Joe that was in here earlier. I hope he's still here. We're trying to work out a good time to do one of these as well. Oh, really? I haven't watched a lot of YouTube today. So it was so other people were having trouble. Denise says, Craig, your question is, what age range are you? Do you mean how old am I? Is that what you're asking? That's what you're asking. Everybody in the chat that may not know who I am, take a guess. How old am I? I asked that question in a Sunday school class one time of kindergartners, maybe first graders. And I got answers of anywhere from, this has been, God, it's been 10, 12, 15 years ago. I got answers anywhere from you're 65 to you're 99. All right. You good?
Yes, I'm on my cell phone on a different StreamYard account because I didn't even know my password.
That's cool. All right. That's cool. It's no problem. I know there's always trouble. I don't think I've ever done a stream or been on a stream where everything just ran just perfectly. It never happens.
Well, and now the internet's back up. So just as soon as I get on my cell phone, it's going to kick and start working again. But we're here and it's on, so let's rock.
Oh, you're good. All right. So we got number 1 out of the way. All right, here's number 2. And I really didn't put these down in any order. They were just the order I kind of thought about them. What would you do with your family if you had all day and could spend no money and you had to leave the house? What would y'all do?
Spend no money and had to leave the house. We would go fishing. Our family loves to be outdoors. We'd either go hiking or fishing. But I grew up on South River in Butts County, Georgia. I call it the tail end of the world. And so we enjoy fishing. I've been doing it my whole life, so that would be one of the things we'd probably do.
That's cool.
And my wife, Nikki T, is in the chat, and she'll tell you she always catches more fish than I do. But the kicker is because I'm taking the fish off and baiting the hooks. So that's the reason why.
You're doing all the work.
That's exactly right.
So do y'all do y'all? I mean, fishing is fishing to me. I'm not a competitive fisherman. I enjoy it, but y'all like catfishing, bass? What do y'all, crappie?
Oh yeah, we're a whatever bites kind of family. I have a boat. That's really one of the things with the eBay business is that I really don't use the funds. I don't take a salary from it. But the two things that we have bought is a boat and the camper. So those are two things we enjoy to do as a family. So the little boat I didn't pay much for, but we get in the river and like to catch as many fish as we can.
That's cool. Do you have somewhere pretty close that you can go, or do you have to drive a little bit, or what?
Yeah, where I grew up is only about 20 miles from where we're at now. So I go, I leave, and I probably could be at my parents' home in the boat probably within the hour, putting the boat in, running up the river. So we're close, and we still don't do it as much as we should, but we enjoy getting out.
That's cool. That's a lot of fun. I live pretty close to a state park. You can go out there fishing, but it's not a lot of boat fishing. They've got docks and stuff like that. You can go out there and do that. So that's cool. That'd be a lot of fun. I think it's fun to get out in nature and see things and just spend time with family. I can see that being a lot of fun. We try and do that pretty often as well.
Yeah, we love camping, and that's one of the things that we do. And camping's a lot of work, but the kicker is we're together and we're doing all the work. So that's one of the things as a family we really enjoy doing.
That's cool. All right, number 3, favorite vacation spot for the family.
Favorite vacation spot. We have one of the places that we enjoy going and want to go, hopefully when this pandemic is over, is Tellico, Lake Tellico in Tennessee. It's clear water. The lake has smallmouth and largemouth bass. It's usually cool. And Nikki T, my wife, we have been, and we've taken our kids one time. Well, that's the next vacation spot that when all this is over that we'll be going back to.
Oh, that'll be cool. Never heard of that. Is it on the eastern end of Tennessee? That's
right, around the Knoxville area, and it's mountainous. It's got rocky. The area's grown a bunch over the last. Well, we've been married, 15 years, so it has really grown, a bunch in that time. But we still enjoy. The water hadn't changed.
That's cool. That'd be fun.
I might have said the wrong number.
All right. These are the order that next one are kind of jumbled up, so we may jump around. Favorite video game or board game growing up? Were you a computer game? Were you a video game? Did you like board games? What was your?
Yeah, I was born in '80, and I think I remember when we had Atari, and I enjoyed a few Atari games. When we got the original NES, I just thought the Duck Hunt game was just out of the world. So we enjoyed the combo Mario Brothers and the Duck Hunt game. Me and my brother, and we competed on the Duck Hunt game. Kids today don't know anything about that, but Duck Hunt was pretty awesome.
The dog laughing at you?
Yeah, that's right. He'd pop up and ears flop out. Good game.
We only, my parents were not big into game. I guess they weren't really called game consoles back then, but the Atari and all that. The Atari 2600 was the only thing we had.
Yeah.
I had to get my Mario on at a friend's house. So.
Yeah, well, we enjoyed it. We we didn't have a bunch, but we were honored to have what we had. And when we got that, man, we really thought we were something.
Nice. That's cool. All right. I noticed you've done a lot of, you sell a lot of cards on your eBay store. You talk about them on your What Sold videos and things like that. I've been collecting cards since 1980 on and off. And I think I got into the situation of being confused. I was confused as whether I was a card collector or I was a card dealer / seller. Which one do you think you would be if you had to classify yourself? Are you a collector or a seller?
Oh, no doubt today it would be a seller. I'm just digging in. But because I was a collector and because I collected so much when the cards were during the junk era, right. I know enough about cards now that I can be dangerous as a seller. So that's what's been a blessing to me is that, I still enjoy the cards, but I'm not keeping them. I just I get to see them. I get to look, see the value, and then get the value back out of them just as quick as I put it in. And that's what's been so crazy lately is that, man, there's some cards that you can go buy at Walmart. And, I mean, before you even open the pack, you can already make 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times your money. So it's getting hot again. It's not 89, 90, 91, but it's getting hot.
Right. Wow. That mid to late 80s up to the mid to late 90s was just, unless you're just getting cards great and getting PSA 10s out of everything, there's not a lot of value in there anymore. But I
still have, probably within arm's reach of me, I still have, my dad worked at Snapper Power and he would bring home the 3-ring binders. And I still have all of my Cal Ripken Juniors and Nolan Ryan. So I still have my cards, even though they're not valuable to anybody else. But they're mine. So I still collect cards, but I don't add to the collection right now.
Right. I think probably 80 or 90% of my collection is nothing but commons now. And it's all in the big 800 count or whatever the big, good size boxes are. But I did a live stream with Pat D's probably about a year ago, and we talked about cards for a solid hour and a half. I've always had a fascination with them. Because I've always been into sports.
Mm-hmm.
Did your sports interest kind of spark your card collecting, or did something else?
Yeah, it may have been the other way around. I remember playing Little League ball, and the town that I live in now, used to have a card shop. It was an old mill town, is where I'm at now, where the church that I pastor, and the old mill was turned into it was a flea market, and there were 2 card dealers that were there, and I would get every week, I would get whatever money mom and dad would let me have, and I would just run down with either $5 or $10 and just waste them on cards. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. And, it's kind of neat that now they have, the mills have been turned into loft apartments, and there are people in the church that I pastor now are living where the card shop used to be. But that's really what started. Then I played baseball. But even now, I mean, it amazes me the value. I call them the Baptist lottery tickets. I don't play the lottery, but that's what trading cards are. I mean, you can open a box for $10 and get a $100, $500, $1,000 card inside of that box. So it's fun. And it's addictive. I think after I put the Panini video, the Panini Mosaic, I think Panini needs to pay me, because I think they have sold a bunch of cards since then to resellers, and it's been fun watching.
And those are the ones you're buying for either 19 or 20 something dollars, and they're selling for 40 or 50 a box unopened.
The cards that I sold the first day, it was 9. I sold 9 boxes that were $17.98 a piece, and I sold those 9 boxes for $400, right at $500, $495. And so I was selling those for $54.99 a piece. But now, because I've sold so many of the cards that I opened, I probably could have made more money off those cards if I would have opened them up and got the cards that were in it out. Because
that's a risk you take. That's the whole game. That's why it's a lottery ticket. You could open up all those boxes and not find one good card that's worth any more than a common.
Yeah, but what was so crazy about the Mosaic is that even the base cards, some of the base cards are going, base LeBron. I sold one just a minute ago. they're selling for more than that box. So base LeBrons, base just the base cards, and then I think I have a LeBron James that I got out of one of them now. I've got it up at auction at $249. I've sold $175 just single cards. So it's been fun. It's been an enjoyable hunt.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I've always had a fascination with cards. I could sit here and talk for hours, but it's crazy. The time has definitely changed with the card collecting, card selling, but we won't bore everybody with that.
Yes, we'll do it offline, but I'd love to talk about that too.
I think I'm gonna skip the next one because it was kind of close to that. All right, we're gonna go. We're gonna get all religious here, and I have no problem with doing that. Some people say stay away from politics, stay away from religion. No, sorry, can't do it tonight. Being a pastor, or a reverend, a pastor, whatever you would want to call yourself, what is your favorite sermon topic? If you had to preach a sermon today without looking up, doing any research, what would you want to talk about?
Yeah, there's an Old Testament story that has a New Testament vibe, and it preaches a great New Testament message, but it's in 2 Kings chapter 7, and it's the 4 leprous men that are at the gate, and they ask themselves a question early on in that text. Why do we sit here until we die? There was a famine in the land, and they got up, they took off towards the camp of the Assyrians, and as they did that, it tells a beautiful story how God, caused the Assyrian army to hear all this noise that another army was coming, and Scripture says they left everything in the camp. It says their donkeys. I read the King James. It doesn't say donkeys, but it said they left their donkeys tied and everything in the tent. And these guys go in. They start hiding all the stuff. And then they say this question. They say, what we're doing is not good. Let's go back and tell the king's household. And God used those 4 leprous men to basically heal a land that was in famine. And that just goes to show, just a few people can really change a lot. So that even though I'm not big, we're not big, but if we do the right thing, God can use it for his glory, and it can help a lot will people. So I love that text.
If you touch one person.
Yeah, that's right. Just step out, do the right thing, and God will take care of the rest.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge. And I'm, again, not trying to get all religious. I'm a religious person, saved. I'm not the kind of person that likes to really push religion on people. If we have those kind of conversations, I'm fine. But it's crazy. But hey, Tom,
I think that's one of the things that a lot of people have asked about my channel. If I should have not put Rev Resale and just called my channel something else, but the kicker is that's who I am.
Right.
I don't preach on this channel. I'm just I am a pastor. I'm a Christian. I'm a born again believer. I'm not ashamed of that. And I hope that when people watch the channel, even though I'm not preaching to them, they can tell that I am who I say I am. And I just want to represent the Christian and the follower that I am. And if I do that, it has been amazing to me, people that have come to me all from Facebook and all from the YouTube channel and have asked me questions, asked me to pray for them, pray about their marriage. It's amazing how the ministry opportunities have opened up just because that REV in front of my name. And I go by Pastor D at the church. I'm not even Reverend, but the R and the R of resale, it just fits. So that's why that's why I put the Rev there. I'm not Rev anywhere else but here.
But I think part of doing YouTube is to establish an identity, establish a brand, right. And I think that's what it's done for you.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. If you see that, hopefully you should know who I am, and that's me.
That's cool. All right, how and where did you and Nikki T meet?
Oh my, she is in the chat, so I have got to throw this one out. In the town that we're close by, me and a buddy that was a member of the church and I'm a pastor of now, we used to cruise the plaza. There's a community and it's had a Kroger, and everyone just kind of rode around, and we saw girls. We'd say hello to them. The day before, he met his wife, and they both worked at the Belk. And so me and my buddy went to Belk, and lo and behold, Nikki T was in there. And I thought, oh my Lord, this is my dream. And she came out. We talked. I had the Fu Manchu. I just got through with my sophomore year playing baseball in college, and she thought I was like an old man. But I knew she was it. She went into Kroger and said she wanted the Snicker bar, and I decided I wanted the Snicker bar too. And it's been history ever since.
That's cool. That's neat. How many years y'all been married?
So we were married in 2004. So 16,
Nice.
2003. Look at there. You done got me in trouble, Craig.
Busted.
She hollered nope in the background. 2003. So
Wow.
we're at 16, going on 17 years here in a little bit.
Nice. Congrats. When's your anniversary?
Yes, June 21st. So we don't have too much longer.
I've got one coming up this month. Let's see, 92. I got to do math. Be 28 this year.
28, cool.
Yes. 20. Yeah. Woo. Time flies, doesn't it?
I wouldn't want to do it any other way. I don't remember life without Nikki T, and wouldn't want to try it without her. So it's fun.
I mean, you blink your eyes and you got kids. Well, you don't yet, but you'll have kids that are 30 years old, and you've been married 50 years, and it's crazy.
Yes, indeed. It is. Everybody always said, well, the kids will grow up fast, and they are growing up before our eyes. So we'll probably blink again, and we'll be walking them down the aisle and doing the ceremony. But it's life's good, and that's the cool thing about YouTube and life in general is I think so many people have all these lofty goals, and they just feel that, hey, if I don't do this, if I don't get 1,000 subs, if I don't get monetized, if I don't make $1 million, I'm not successful. I just have a different moniker of what success is.
Right.
And my faith, my family, my friends, that is truly what makes me successful. And everything else is just icing on the cake.
So it's not the 3 S's, it's the 3 F's?
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is for me.
Cool. That's neat. And how many kids do y'all have?
We have 2. Have a son and a daughter, JC and Reagan.
Nice. Cool. All right. First YouTube reselling channel you ever watched that you're willing to admit?
Yeah. I actually, we talked about the things that I used to do. I was watching one day a guy rebuild a carburetor, and I don't know why it had in the recommendations Resale Rabbit, and Resale Rabbit does it differently. But I watched his channel, and that same day it recommended Lonnie's channel.
Right.
And from Lonnie, I thought, man, if these cats can do it, I can do it. And since then, I've started rocking and rolling, and it's been great. But those 2 are, I guess, the OGs for me.
That's cool. There's a lot of, I was watching Chad going through Finger Picker. He's kind of come out of the woodwork recently.
Yeah, I saw him the other day. Cool.
It's neat to see that, but the times have changed. So like I said, I've been around this community for almost 5 years now, and there's hundreds, if not thousands, more channels now than there was back then. But just there's a lot of great creators out there, and I think, like I was saying earlier, the best way that viewers can support people is to watch their content.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of young, and when I say young, just YouTube channels that's just started and been around just for a little while. And this community is so cool that, we're subbing to everybody. Everybody's in the community talking to one another, and that's the way it should be. I think there is some drama. I don't want to be a part of that. But, man, we're all in this together, one big family. So that's the way I try to view it.
That's cool. All right, on that same note, what was the last YouTube channel or last video that you watched today, or the last time you watched a video?
The last video that I watched was Grime Finds. Of course, Grimes has 60 some odd, almost 70,000 subs, and he actually gave me a shout out in the video. So because of that, I was honored. But that was the last video that I watched. Grimes does things he does things different, but different is really good because he has a lot of subs.
Definitely. And I think everybody has to kind of find their own path.
Yeah, that's right.
And just because you choose your path the way you choose doesn't mean it's any better or any worse than my path. It's your path.
That's exactly right. Man, if we all did the same thing, and during this outbreak, I think sort of we're stuck to doing a lot of similar stuff. If it wasn't for the different personalities, man, it would get boring really quick. So you have to be a little crazy And I think that little bit of crazy helps us all out. So I know I hold that moniker myself.
Yep. I know I mentioned earlier, if anybody has any questions or anything that you wanted to talk about, drop it in the chat. I'm getting close to the end of my list. And what time is it? We got a little bit more time. All right. 2 questions kind of grouped together. Favorite sport, and within that sport, your favorite team.
Wow, favorite sport would without a doubt be baseball. I played a little bit of baseball high school and college, and really enjoyed it. So baseball is my sport, and the Atlanta Braves, without a doubt, would be the team.
You're in Georgia, so what else would you be?
Yes, well, this whole region for a long time, because of TBS, was Atlanta Braves fans.
Oh yeah, I grew up watching, TBS, watching the Braves. Was it TBN, CBN, whatever the Cubs were on.
Yeah, WGN.
It was Braves and Cubs were on.
Yes, that's right. Braves and Cubs. Those were the 2 teams.
That's the Braves are the closest thing we have around, over here. We've got a minor league. I don't know if they're still. We've got one in Montgomery. That's the minor league for the Rays, I believe, the Montgomery Biscuits. And then we've got the Birmingham.
We enjoy as a family. We enjoy here. We're really close, just a few miles south of Atlanta. We're close to the Braves Stadium, but we enjoy the Gwinnett Braves. They're a team that's really close to Gwinnett Stripers. And I mean, you're closer at a minor league stadium. We got to meet a lot of the players, so we enjoy that experience as much or more than we do going to Truist Stadium in Marietta, which where the Braves play.
Right. I've only been to the only minor league games I've been to. I've been to the Barons and the Biscuits in Montgomery. Actually, the Montgomery used to have the Rebels, which was tied to the Tigers back in the early '80s, late '70s, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Michael Jordan did a stint with the White Sox, and he played through the Barons here in Birmingham.
Yeah,
I went and watched him play. But
I had some of those cards. Those were pretty hot cards coming up too. Michael Jordan playing baseball. That was he was truly an athlete.
Some of his even just common cards are selling these days out here.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think with the ESPN and everything that's going on with the documentary they're putting out, man, all of his cards are starting to sell again. I'll still keep them.
I know I think I've got
Buffalo
something.
asks, where's the Nikki Titus handed me this, and it says Buffalo asks, where is the honey hole located? I don't have a clue what that cat's talking about. I don't. Buffalo's fairly close to me, so I've actually got 3 honey holes here, fairly close to where we live, and I found a lot of good things to resell here. It's been dead recently, obviously, but I always forget where that honey hole is when I get on YouTube. I don't know why.
Yep. Chris, old school picker. Yeah. His first game was against the Lookouts. I was there. I sat on the third base side. I remember when he came up to bat for the first time, and I was watching. I thought I was about to go blind because all the pictures and flashes taken and all that. Actually a pretty cool little stadium. They do a lot of stuff down there. They've actually moved away from that. They do high school stuff down there now. But I think the honey hole is back there behind you. Is it the Billy Bass back there? Is it in his mouth?
Yeah, that is. That was a honey hole find. Billy Bass. I've got all kind of different signs, and I've got a few gifts that have come to me from different viewers. So it's a pretty cool wall back here.
Cool. All right, I'm down to the last question here. What was your first car? And if it was not what you wanted, what would you have wanted it to be?
Oh man, the first car that was mine was a 1994 Ford Ranger with a 4.0 in it. And being a young kid with a little light truck like that, it was dangerous. And here's a story. The church that I'm pastor of now lived in Jackson, about 30 miles away from the church. And I was driving on a Wednesday night. I know we shouldn't do this. I had my Bible sitting on the steering wheel, and I was getting ready for the Wednesday night service. I was leading the youth, and there was an old Chevrolet truck pulled out in front of me. And I looked up, and when I looked up from grabbing my Coke, I just drove right down the side of that old Chevrolet truck, and it totaled my '94 Ranger. It was a pretty awesome truck, but now I have a '99 Ranger that I still have after that one. So that was my first ride, and it was fine. It was everything I needed in a pickup truck.
And the 94 was probably already the smaller body size, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right. Small body side, kind of rounded nose. But it was that 4.0. That truck was too fast for a 16-year-old, and I was dangerous in that thing.
I think I can one up you. And I don't know if I've mentioned this or not. I think I have. It's been a while back though. I turned 16, and my mom had been driving a white and wood grain '79 Ford Fairmont station wagon.
Woo, yes.
And it had orange interior.
Mm-hmm.
And it had the protective plastic over it that she had not taken off. She'd been driving this thing for like 3 years and had not taken the protective plastic off of it.
Wow.
So needless to say, that was not my first choice, but as a 16-year-old, I was very thankful for having something to drive.
Yeah, those old seats, you could take a corner and you could slide into the passenger seat and have to work your way back.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I've had a lot of old cars. I've owned a lot of old Fords. I'm a Ford man, so I've owned some '63 Galaxies, some old Falcons. I've rebuilt a bunch of them and had a good time with them.
That's neat. I've got two younger brothers, and it seems like every time we get together as a family, we end up talking about cars. And my mom always challenges us, and we'll sit down with the whole family. My two younger brothers, my mom, my dad, were like, okay, we're going to make a list of every car that everybody's had. You know, and it's always a child. Oh, I remember that. And it's amazing some of the memories that come up just talking about, oh, I remember that '85 Jetta that I drove in from '88 to '92. And it's funny to have those conversations.
Yeah, I think memories are attached to those too, because I can think, but when I think of that truck with that question, I can think of so many, crazy and idiotic things I did as a kid, and it brings back some good memories. So when you start talking about cars, it's usually a pretty good time.
My two younger brothers are big into technical details about cars. I have no understanding. I can watch YouTube and learn things, but I couldn't sit here and tell you what kind of engine a certain car has unless it's got a badge on the side that says that '89 Mustang is a 5.0.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it. But so you got anything? I noticed you released a video earlier.
Yeah, I did. It was a little bit different. I knew there was some different things coming on. I didn't have many sales today, and I think most of the time when we don't have a big number of sales, it seems like eBay has just been crushing it for me. So every video would be, 30, 40 sales, and today I had 3. So I shared that, answered a few questions that had come through on some comments, and just did a few different things in the video today. So just sort of changing it up a little bit. Hopefully people will enjoy it.
Well, I don't think there's a problem with that. The real side of reselling is you're not going to sell 20, 30 things every day. You're going to have those days when you don't sell anything. You sell 1 or 2 items. I mean, I think a lot of people respect that, in my opinion. At least I would, Yeah,
I think, sometimes if all we ever show is the great days, we're going to kind of give people the wrong idea of what reselling is, because it's more a roller coaster than it is a skyrocket.
Right. And I think that's one of the things you don't see a lot of is that, I don't want to say the downside, but you always everybody wants to show off their big sales. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, you see a lot of, I sold this, I've got this stack of packages going out on a Monday. How often do you see somebody out there saying, well, I didn't sell anything today?
Yeah, that's right.
Like it or not, it happens.
Yeah, but the good thing about being a reseller is on those days, you shouldn't get down. You just got more time to list. You've got more time to do other things. So for me, I try to take those opportunities to, just to get better at the game and do something different. That's why I call it, I know you asked if it was okay if you could use the Funtime title. That's why I call it Funtime. If this ceases to be enjoyable, if it becomes something that's a headache and it's taking time and energy away from other things that I need to be doing, I'll cease to do it. I don't think we need to do this to be miserable. So I try to enjoy eBay and ride the ride. It is a roller coaster, and just ride it and smile when it's low and smile when it's high.
Right. You made a great point. You know, the days you're not packing 8, 10, 15 items, you got more time to list. And I think that's the part of the business that everybody hates so much, is the listing part.
Yeah.
You know, shipping is easy because you've got dollars sitting in your account that are directly related to that work.
You've got something to do. I've always, I owned early on in my married life, I owned a printing business, and it was
really?
neat because on one side of the old AB Dick 360 printer, you'd have a blank sheet of paper, and on the other side, it would go through the press and it'd be the finished product. eBay is really not that way. You've got so many steps in between the time you source it, you list it, you take the pictures, you sell it, you pack it. So it doesn't matter where you're at on that step. It's just one step closer to that sold item. So I actually enjoy listing if it's trading cards or if it's something that I like. I probably have a death pile of some things that I should list that to be honest with you, it's just not fun to list, so I don't do it. But I've got a different business model than some. I do this to be able to bless others with the finances that I get from it. So if it's something that I really don't want to do, I leave it.
Right. John Nevermore Antique says he hates packing. John, I know that's a lie because I know you don't do any packing
Yes, he and his wife. I see her getting all the packing done in the videos.
Yeah. Oh, Glenn's saying check my Facebook. I don't know if he's got a question for me or something. Sorry. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's the first time I've done this on the phone, and this is really easy except holding it. So it's we actually have somebody coming. Hopefully, they're going to fix our internet. It's been coming up and going down, coming up and going down. So we shall. Hopefully, it'll get fixed tomorrow.
Yeah, well, with all the pandemic and all that going on, there's been a lot more people working from home, sitting at home, streaming, watching this kind of stuff. So I'm sure that wire is glowing, and it might have fallen apart a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But so anything coming up on your channel that you're going to be doing? I know you said you might be doing some more streaming, which is cool.
Yeah, I think that's. I think every live, I've always said that's one of the things that I wanted to do, is to do more lives. My wife, Nikki T, I think she needs YA, YouTube Anonymous, because she's a school teacher, and since she's been at home, she's been in all the chat. She's been seeing and meeting everybody, and it's been awesome for me. I've really enjoyed it.
Right.
But I think everybody on the channel enjoys her too. So
Definitely.
when we do lives, we'll probably do those together, and I think it'll help watch time hours, and it's just fun interacting with people in the chat. So we look forward to that.
Definitely, that's something that helped me. And I don't want to say I know a lot about YouTube, and I'm definitely far from being a big channel. I do appreciate everybody that watches my channel. Few of you that there are out there, but one of the things that helped me is just getting out there and being active in the community, being in people's live streams, talking to people, trying to connect with people. That's one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give people, is be active and build friendships, build relationships with people.
That's exactly right. I think you can be genuine in your videos, but you really get to see the type of the person in the chat, and chatting and being a part of the community. But I mean, if we're honest, there are probably some stuck-up YouTubers, and I don't want to be one of those. If if Landshark Picker asked me to be on his channel, I want to do it. And if a guy that's just got 50, or we can't do a live with 50, but has 101 subs, and say, Rev, would you come on the channel? I should be just as excited to get on his channel and hang out with them as I would, someone else. So that's the cool thing about the community, is most of the community is that we're all in it together.
Right. And I think I know I had a lot of help from some larger channels when I first got started. Like I said, I've been around the community for 4 or 5 years, but I've only been doing content for a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. And I had, everybody always, like you were talking about Grimes earlier with your channel, it's always nice to get a bump. And I've always felt that need to kind of pass that torch along. It's fun helping channels. Some of the channels I've got a couple of smaller channels I've watched that I'm probably going to try and do this same kind of thing with. Not that I'm a big channel, but it's nice to expose new channels to people that follow my channel.
It is truly an honor for a small channel to be given that invitation. I remember, I think a lot of Josh was the first interview that I did, and you know,
Right.
Josh is an awesome guy, and I was not starstruck because you know he's just a regular dude, but I was honored to be given that invitation. So I want to, like you say, I want to pass that on too, and I think you're doing a good job with it, and that's why you know, I like to give those shout outs when somebody buys something from the store or sends a gift in. You know, I'm going to share it and tell them how grateful and thankful I am. Because if I cease to be grateful and thankful, you know, people shouldn't watch the channel.
Right. Defeats the purpose of doing it.
That's exactly right.
Based on what you were saying earlier before we went live, I know your heart's in the right place, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But
yes, sir.
Anybody in the chat got anything? We're going to try and wrap things up. Like I said earlier, John Nevermore Antiques has got a live stream starting in 8 minutes and 14 seconds.
All right, tell me the story. Here's a question. Your backdrop, 18, I would assume that's Mr. Manning?
It is?
Yes. It's now, is that something you're selling, or is that yours, just a prop?
It's been sitting up there for a while. I take all my clothing pictures right there. I don't know if it's listed. I threw it up there before I jumped in a hangout one night that wasn't live, and it's just been sitting up there since. It's just one of those Reebok NFL equipment. It's not a sewn on. It's a printed. If I can pick those up I probably paid $3.99 for that, $4.
Well, I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan, so anytime I see Peyton Manning, it brings up nightmares because he put it on the dogs numerous times. So I just thought it was neat to see the jersey.
Yeah. Anything out of the chat? Anything y'all want to know before we call it quits? And I definitely appreciate everybody showing up. I know it's a challenge. There's a lot going on YouTube these days. There's so many streams. I appreciate y'all spending the time with us tonight. Hopefully you learned something about Mr. David over here to my left, right, wherever you are. I'm sorry. I hate that. I hate that it's but yeah, y'all definitely if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the chat or the comments below after the fact if we missed something. And everybody can be sure to check out John's. I'm gonna go grab the link real quick. I don't know if John's still in the chat. Nevermore Antiques. He might be preparing for his stream. Let me go grab his link real quick.
Yeah, well, Craig, while you're doing that, I'll thank you again. You know, most of you probably have seen in the chats, me and Land Chart Picker always aggravate one another about whoever's the first one to get in the chat. So it's kind of neat to have that dialogue. And Craig, I do thank you, man. You're one of a kind in a group of awesome people. But you're a special one in the group. So we appreciate all you do. Thank you for having me on. It's been fun, even with the internet issues. It caused me to be a little red.
I might have lied. It may not be on John's channel tonight. They've got a stream. I don't know if he's in here. I'm feeling stupid now. They've got a show tonight. Is on whose channel is it on? I'm gonna look stupid now. 5-6. Here it is. It's on the Thrifting Goombas channel. It's one that John does as well. Let me click on it. Grab the link. I'm gonna head over there. I'm gonna be in that chat if everybody wants to jump over there.
That's what made you start YouTube.
All right. Nikki T just came in and said Shane M had a question about why did I start YouTube? I know you're ready to get off.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's one of those questions that people always want to ask. You know, just sort of what we've talked about. YouTube has just been a way that I've just been able to share. It used to be before Nikki T became a reseller and enjoyed this family and this group as much as I have. It was just sort of me. So it was just a way that I was able to share and interact and be able to help others. Hopefully the channel will continue to do that it'll just be a way that, not saying that I know how to do everything, because I don't. I'm a long ways from that. But if me just doing the reselling business the way I do, if it helps somebody else, and if it opens up a door for me to help them in other ways in their life, that's an advantage. So that's sort of why I'm doing it. It's not for the money. It's for the fun and the experience.
Cool. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's kind of takes the fun out of it when you make it a job.
Yes, that's right. Hopefully it'll never be that.
All right, guys, I appreciate it. Be looking for the next one. I think it's already scheduled on this channel. I've got Chris, how to sell on eBay, whatever the name of his channel is. It's scheduled on my channel. Like I said earlier, I've got a couple other people scheduled, so be looking for those. And again, I appreciate everybody showing up and spending a little time with us. And y'all have a great evening. That's good and Southern, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
In broadcast 5, 4.